Welcome to High Performance, the podcast featuring Josh Phegan and Alexander Phillips. Alexander, today we're going to talk about a really important topic about what actually happens in that 48 hours after you've been to the listing presentation where you haven't actually received the instruction yet from that owner. And you know that potentially they could be talking to some other agents or they just want some time to think about it. What should an agent be doing, whilst they're at the appointment to set it up for post the appointment? And what are some of the actions that they can take on when they're working with that customer?
Josh, I think that's a very important 48 hours, given that a lot of our appraisals, like even two that I've just been on today, like they're not going to give you the go ahead on the spot, but you may be the front runner because they've got to go away, think about it, look at agreements, and just finalise everything. So a number of things that we do is obviously thank you cards immediately. You've got a call the next day at 7:30 in the morning. Like the first calls I make in the morning are to appraisals from the day before. And then the reason why we do that is one, I always find it's the best time of day to get someone, but they know you're in the office and how hard working you are, which is one of the most important aspects of our listing presentation. But it's also obviously to talk about, we always then come up with a story of maybe some people that we've spoken to that would be perfect for it, and actually just talk about buyers in our database that we've since thought about, after leaving the property. So they know that when you've been thinking about it, you're onto it, you're starting to, get, information and buyers ready, which is still just going to help just solidify that you're the right agent for it. And it's to me that's probably one of the best closing things you can do is obviously one, leaving, the fact that you've got many buyers that are ready to go. But when I leave that appointment, I always say that Prue will call them, my EA, who'll go through and make sure the house is 10 out of 10. And then after I've done that call at 7:30 in the morning, generally Prue will call an hour or two after.
So I think this is a really important point is that whilst we're there with the customer, get really clear about how we're going to follow up. And, if you're at the end of the listing presentation, you've come to the close and it's starting to get a bit awkward, don't make it awkward. Just be really clear about what the next lines of communication might be. So Alex, from here, how could I help you, in making that decision? Oh, look, we just want to think about it overnight. Okay, that's cool. So what I might do if it's okay with you is that maybe I might give you a quick call just tomorrow to see how things have balanced out. If you've got any questions at all, then feel free to let me know and then we can go forward from there. And then literally what you want to be trying to do is also trying to see whether or not is it worthwhile doing another appointment. So from here, would it be of assistance for us to pop back through? I know that one of our other principals in the office, so Jason, in your case, Alex, I might be able to get Jason through because I know he's working a lot of buyers in the range. I love the opportunity for him to be able to come and see the home. Would there be some availability to pop past once you've seen the other agent just to get Jason through, see what might happen from there? And what's that's doing is we're now setting up another appointment with them, and there's a chance that if you haven't been able to close, that then you can bring someone else back to be able to assist in that if you haven't quite got the anchor. So let's say, for example, they're after a female agent as well. Maybe you could bring back a female agent from your team to be able to assist in working with that, or even bringing back your principal as a sales agent if you just don't really feel that you've got that marker. The other thing is that there's some great things that you can do, which is obviously sending them some additional detail, specifically maybe a short video for about a minute or so. There's a couple of client testimonials talking about what it's like to sell their house with you. And this is where I think it's about getting really clear on that communication schedule with the agent. Alex, often the agent is really nervous at this point and they're quite anxious, particularly if they haven't got many listings on, and they can tend to over communicate. A lot of calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of emails, and not having any response back from the consumer. How important is it to look keen but not desperate, and how does an agent get that mix right?
It's crucial, Josh, because it's that desperation that creeps through. But it's also, I think, the questions they may be asking is like, are you ready to go ahead? Are you ready to sign an agreement? Like it's sort of more those pushy closing questions, but not like the anchor questions that we've got people ready to go. Prue can be around there tomorrow. I've spoken to our photographer. We can lock him in for 2:00 Thursday, providing they're ready to go. A success story around an auction you've had, a success story around an open, around a sale one of the other agents did in the office, which is, I think, more opening their eyes on obviously some good stories around maybe how you run your business and how that can benefit them. And that's what people want. A consumer these days want to know that something that can benefit them. And I think that also is a better way of building some rapport with them as well, and will help you to secure more business rather than coming across as the standard real estate agent, with the standard closing questions.
The interesting thing is that in every single one of those questions that you rolled out for us there, they're all assumptive closes. And it's all about progressing the customer moving forward versus the question, are you ready to sign, is very much a yes or no close question from the consumer point of view, and is like either ultimate permission or not. It's kind of like, do you want to get married? Yes or no? And that's kind of like, it's a very full-on thing where you can actually start to just soften that a little bit and start to take them through the journey. Other options too is obviously things like stylists, the ability to be able to bring a photographer through, dropping back a list of trades and services that you might use, introduction to other people inside of the team, possibly even inviting them out to an open for inspection or an auction that you've got on the weekend. Also in addition to that, maybe even showing them through a property that's similar to theirs that you've currently got on the market today, maybe potentially even showing them a property that they might look to move into, so that you're really helping with that motivation piece rather than just being pushy. And how often have we seen it where the clients made that decision with an agent because they just helped them out on other things rather than just actually trying to sign the agreement. Alex, the other thing too is to get really clear about what happens if you don't win the listing. And sometimes agents can get quite narky and even ring that owner continually throughout the course of the campaign to upset the other agent, through their campaign. What's the best practice here for an agent if they lose the listing to a competitor?
Josh, perfect, day to ask that question. I just sold a house yesterday in Clovelly, for 4.4 that we thought we were going to get the business first time round. We missed it, went with another agent. We congratulated them, wished them luck with the sale. That was it. It's 3 months down the track. It hasn't sold. We called them, giving them a few success stories. They're still happy with the current agent. I said, just let me know if anything, if it doesn't sell, we're there to help you. 2 weeks later, they call me saying we've had enough, we're ready to go. Thanks for being supportive through the campaign. As in me not communicating with them, me not bombarding them, derailing the other agent, which so many agents will do. We've since sold the property, and even one, this afternoon I praised Josh that, again, we missed out. Like, these are two big listings we missed out that have now come back to us because it's the same story where we're polite. We said, good luck, we appreciate your decision. They already made the decision, no point trying to get in there or try and obviously upsell what they should be using us. And I think that this is something that, I think properties like that, Josh, is with our listing ratio of 65%. So we're missing out on a lot, but I reckon still 10% of the properties we miss out on don't sell. So that's another 5 or 10 listings a year that we will then get second time round that are more motivated and are ready to sell straight away. So Josh, I think that's something that I learned early on that, you just congratulate, move on.
And I think the big thing is here is that just because you've missed that piece of business, it doesn't mean that you've lost the opportunity for them to refer you. And I'll never forget this. I walked into a listing presentation with a lady that, ran one of the local clothes stores, and I bought a lot of clothes off her over the years. And I turn up the listing presentation, I listed, I'm ready there to go. She says, let me think it over. And the next day she lets me know that she's listed with one of my competitors. And at the time, I really wanted to tell her, why did you do that? And I thought, there's no point getting aggro here. So what I did, I wrote a beautiful thank you card. Thanks very much for the opportunity. I know it's always hard in selecting an agent. You've made the right decision. And I wish you all the best of luck in the future. If ever there's anything I can ever do from a real estate point of view, please let me know. 2 days later, the agent that had listed the house had actually sold the home. So she had made the right decision for a very quick sale. But off the back of that, a couple of days after that, she then refers me to my best ever listing of my career. And so this is what I think that's important is that be gracious in defeat and realize that sometimes people do have a genuine reason, and that's okay. But you know what? It doesn't mean that they won't refer you in the future. So be a bigger person than the defeat, be gracious around what's actually happened, and realize that it's another great career building moment.